Well, many businesses tell me it would be a serious setback for them if King County rolls back to phase 2. And they tell me they're bracing themselves for what's in store in the next couple days and weeks.
Nathan's Barbershop in the University District of Seattle is going to be hit hard if King County slides back to phase 2.
It'll be even worse than we are right now.
Haitham Almamar is the owner. With King County currently in phase 3, he only has 2 barbers working together. Now that King County is in danger of sliding back to phase 2.
If we go back to phase 2, then that means I'm going to have to go for 1 barber only, so I'm going to have to operate by myself.
At Nan and Curry in Issaquah, the curry and the to-go orders of Indian food keep customers coming back. During phase 3, the restaurant only offers takeout.
We've stuck to takeout due to the reason that it may fluctuate, and we don't think that does justice with the staff that we bring in to adhere to the additional capacity, because we eventually would have to let them go again if there was a reduction in capacity.
A rollback from phase 3 to phase 2 means going from 50% capacity to 25%. For restaurants that count on indoor dining, that's going to hurt.
It's going to be very tough for them because they need the 50% capacity to survive.
A rollback will also hurt many gyms. During phase 3, Northwest Fitness Wellness Center can have 28 people. Moving back to phase 2 allows for 14 people.
It's extremely discouraging. We are, of course, during this time trying to be as nimble as possible, and that's currently why we're operating as a wellness clinic and not just a standard fitness facility.
The rollback for fitness, what that means is moving from 50% capacity back to 25% capacity. You know, for some, that's not going to be an issue, but I get mostly concerned about the smallest businesses in our space. Those are the ones that really get hurt.
And we begin here at 6 with major developments in the effort to vaccinate against COVID-19. First, the city of Seattle announcing a big increase in the number of weekly doses it will receive, putting it on the road to herd immunity.
At the same time, the CDC and FDA have lifted a nearly 2-week-long pause on the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, clearing the way for its use across the country. We have team coverage tonight, including Steve McCarron, with more on how the CDC's decision affects our state.
But we begin with Patrick Quinn and the upcoming boost to Seattle's vaccination push. Patrick?
20,000 extra vaccine doses are coming to the city of Seattle. The city just got word from the feds of this today. And the headline, Mayor Jenny Durkan says this now allows the city to reach herd immunity, 70% of the population vaccinated by next month.
I am very happy for the city of Seattle.
Smiles from the mayor as Seattle is set to get 52,000 doses next week, the largest allotment yet.
If we push on this, we can, by the end of May, reach the threshold that we need to have our threshold immunity here in the city of Seattle.
These extra doses allocated directly from the feds after the mayor and county officials continue to demand more doses sent directly to the region.
I had communications with the White House yesterday about getting more supplies for the city of Seattle and Seattle King County Public Health so that we can ramp up as quickly as possible.
That was in mid-March. Today, the feds met that request. But King County is seeing more vaccination doses as cases and hospitalizations are also surging. 56 COVID patients at University of Washington hospitals, the highest in months. Dr. John Lynch worries about the days ahead.
We're having trouble finding beds for people who need critical care. So ICU, the sickest people in our hospitals. And that shows no sign of getting better.
For Durkan, it remains a race against the variants. Starting tonight, with more doses headed to Seattle, those of you on the city's notification list could get an email like this one, saying it's finally your turn to roll up your sleeve.
It has been a tough year and a half almost, but we're getting close.
Not only has this site done 50,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, but the mayor believes that because of the amount of supply we're getting, we could see 50,000 doses across all of the city vaccination sites next week alone. To Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan, this is an important moment of reflection.
Today, we are reaching important milestones.
It wasn't long ago that the mass vaccination site at Lumen Field Events Center opened up for folks to get inoculated. At the time, based on supply, the city could only vaccinate about 5,000 people for that first week. Thanks to increasing supply from the feds, in about a month and a half, the site has vaccinated over 50,000 people.
I have been persistent in talking to the White House, talking to the governor, talking to everyone we could to get more doses for the city of Seattle.
And starting next week, the city will receive 20,000 more doses to increase their allotment to 52,000.
Right now is kind of the moment that we've been anticipating. We're finally seeing an increase in the number of vaccine doses that we're getting.
King County Executive Dow Constantine says King County is seeing a boost too. Overall, the county will get 200,000 doses next week.
That is more than double what we were getting across the county when this clinic opened.
Which he says will make an even bigger dent in the current backlog of folks waiting to get a shot.
We are not only going to be able to begin addressing some of the wait lists that we have here at Lumen Field and elsewhere, but also get vaccines into the hands of providers who may just be the key to getting that hesitant person to agree to get vaccinated.
And this supply increase can't come soon enough. Cases and hospitalizations are creeping back up in the county, and without some serious lifestyle changes, King will most likely regress to phase 2.
We can't have that. We have to run the whole race.
Mayor Durkin went on to say that if we can sustain the amount of supply that we're receiving, we could potentially vaccinate every eligible person in the city by the end of May. At Lumen Field Event Center, Nick Popham, KOMO News.
Vaccination picture as it stands right now. So far, we've given more than 4.9 million doses, which is 83% of our state supply. Right now, the state is averaging more than 61,000 shots every day with a new goal of 90,000 a day. More than 39% of all Washingtonians are partially vaccinated. Nearly 27% are fully vaccinated.
Developing now, the pause on the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has now been lifted by the feds. Use of the vaccine was halted last week when several women developed blood clots after getting the shot. KOMO Steve McCarran is at the live desk with more on the feds' decision. Steve?
Well, Mary, now that the feds have lifted the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, those shots can start going into arms immediately across the country. The feds say the benefits of that vaccine outweigh the risk of those extremely rare blood clots.
I'm glad that we made a decision and we need to move forward.
Reaction from Dr. Ali Mokdad seconds after a CDC advisory committee voted 10-4 to recommend lifting the current pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, with one person abstaining. Advisors recommended adding a warning that women under the age of 50 should be aware of the possible risk of blood clots from the vaccine.
We really are depending on the public health agencies and the partner organizations to make sure that people actually are informed and are empowered, and that they actually get a balanced perspective.
We learned today the CDC has now learned of at least 15 cases of the extremely rare blood clots potentially linked to the vaccine out of nearly 8 million doses administered nationwide. All 15 cases involved women, most under the age of 50, and none from Washington. 3 of the women died. Just yesterday, doctors announced an Oregon woman died earlier this month after getting the shot.
I want to emphasize that at this time, we do not know whether the Oregon woman's death is related to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
According to the feds, the U.S. has more than 9 million doses of the J&J vaccine ready to be administered right now. The state isn't expecting to get any doses of the vaccine next week and will likely only get 4,300 doses for the first week of May.
This is a game changer, and we need every vaccine out there. Yes, in this state, in the United States, we have options, and that's why we can proceed with a vaccine like this.
So here in Washington, there is one more step that needs to happen. A special work group made up of several states, including Washington, has been meeting about today's developments since 4:30 this afternoon, so about an hour and a half now. That group will need to sign off on all of this, too. No word yet on that group's decision tonight. Back to you.
We want to know what you think. A KOMO News poll asks if you would consider getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine despite the blood clot risk. At last check, take a look, 41% say yes, 54% say no, 2% are unsure, and 3% say it's too soon to say. You can still vote. Just look for the story on our website, KOMOnews.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.